Hey guys, Pastor Greg Locke here. The last couple of months have been absolutely crazy in this world. Hurricane after hurricane with more on the way, wildfires, huge earthquakes in Japan and Mexico, wars, rumors of war, North Korea, everything going on, racial riots, tension, problems. It just seems to get worse and worse and worse.
That sounds like a really horrible scenario, everything turning against us like that. But the real question, what's causing it? Let's do this. Greetings, fellow space travelers. BionicDance here. Today we're apparently discussing war and the weather, and the causes for each. And the answers might surprise you, or maybe not.
But the real issue is not the weather. The real issue is the heart of man.
Who knew that there was such power in men's hearts that they could control the weather? Harness that ability, and this world could be a paradise. Or, full of wizards throwing lightning bolts at each other. Either way sounds kinda cool.
Now, there is no doubt we live in a fallen world, and therefore a lot of catastrophes and natural disasters are going to take place.
For this to be a fallen world, it has to have been a not fallen world first. And nobody's ever been able to show that. Sure, it says it in a book you like, but that book is the source of your unfounded claim. You're going to have to try harder to be convincing.
But at the heart of all of it, the earth is rocking and reeling and groaning for God to take control and to once again bring it back to its original state of perfection. That's still a while yet into the future.
Oh, where to begin with this little nugget of joy? First, I thought your God had the power to just poof this world into the way he wanted it. Second, I thought he loved us enough to do it. And third, don't a lot of you guys predict some sort of apocalypse, some end-of-the-world thingy? But apparently now paradise is in our future, and not in some afterlife, but right here on Earth. I'm awfully confused. Could you religionoids please get your stories straight?
Right now, God's calling us to repentance. He's using supernatural means to get us to wake up and come to the reality that we are in a mess.
Assuming that's true, why use methods that can be so easily mistaken for completely natural events and, in the process, kill hundreds of people, start others looting, and destroy their homes, their entire lives? Tell me, which is more likely? That an all-loving God is magically fucking people over in order to send a message that we need to be better people, or that we live in a universe unguided by anything other than natural forces and which doesn't give two shits about us? It's obvious which one Greggy Poo believes. I challenge him to prove it.
A little boy one day was told by his father, "Why don't you just put my world back together, because mine seems to be falling apart." And upon saying that, he ripped out a full-color picture of the earth, of the world, and just tore it in shreds and threw it in the floor. The little boy very sheepishly picked up all the pieces, went to the kitchen, got some Scotch tape, went upstairs to his bedroom, and piece by piece began to put that picture of the world back together, which did not take him very long at all, to his father's surprise.
This is some sort of metaphor or parable of some kind. Okay, right. Obviously, there are a few problems with it. If we're to believe the Bible, it's not the world this kid destroyed. That's what the dad did, as punishment for some minor indiscretion his son did when he was too innocent to know he shouldn't do it. And it really wasn't the son's idea in the first place. He was tempted by some evil stranger. And for this, the dad shredded the world. As for putting it back together again, apparently the dad is dumping water and garbage all over it until the son gets out the Scotch tape and glue. That is how you tell this story. The kid is taking it in the neck, hardcore, for what was really just an innocent mistake.
He bebopped back down the steps, showed his dad that picture of the world put back together with Scotch tape, and his dad said, "Wow, son, I thought that would take so much longer. How'd you put the world back together so quickly?" He said, "Turn the picture over." His dad turned the picture over, and there was simply a picture of a man. And the little boy said, "Dad, it was very easy. When I put the man back together, the world automatically came back together."
'Cause, after all, which side was up made all the difference in how easy it was to apply the Scotch tape, and which side was being repaired. I mean, think, if our world was being put back together, like if we could stop polluting the fucking place, maybe our lives would be made better. I mean, after all, we do have to live here. At least until we start colonizing other planets. Imagine the damage we could do to the universe if we didn't learn to live clean before we leave Earth. If there is any message at all here, it's that.
You see, this is not a fire issue, a hurricane issue. This is not a earthquake issue. It's not any of those issues. The issue is not about the world.
Tell that to people who've lost their homes or their loved ones. People are being hurt. People are being killed. Personally, I'd rather see what can be done about it by taking decisive action, not wishing on some sacred birthday cake or at a religious wishing well.
The issue is about the people of the world. And when we have our brokenness fixed, when we get hope, when we have unity, when we come together and stop rioting and killing each other, when man gets put back together, well, now the world, that'll take care of itself.
See, Greg has it almost right. The world isn't going to take care of itself, not environmentally. That will require decisive action on our part. And even then, there are things we cannot, or at least don't know how, to prevent. I think I've heard of ways to prevent the nastier earthquakes by setting them off early using explosives. But I don't know. Not my area. Point is, it's not human social behavior that will make an earthquake not happen. Or if you think that being nice to people and following biblical principles is somehow going to stop tectonic plate movement, I'd love to know how. And I'd love to know why we should decide your God isn't overreacting by causing death and destruction all over the world just because we're breaking a few rules. Until next time, fellow space travelers, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic. Instead, please think.
You know, Dewey, we wouldn't have to do this if I had more Patreon patrons. Just saying. Hey, this is a nice computer you got over here. Be a shame you didn't subscribe to BionicDance. I'd hate for something bad to happen to it.